Have you ever wondered what it would be like to participate in the creation of the laws that govern our existence, where we are able to determine our future by voting for policies rather than politicians? Some years back, I was attending a concert by a world-renowned band called U2, when the lead singer Bono looked out across the crowd and said, "Do you believe in democracy?" As a sea of hands rose into the air, a smile came across my face as I realised that the lady standing next to me had her hands firmly by her side. As much as I appreciate all those around me, it was nice to know that I was not alone in my thoughts, that democracy may not be quite as it appears. Democracy could be regarded as the foundation of our modern civilization that has enabled us to evolve out of the Dark Ages, as it represents the will of the people to be able to determine their future. Yet, does democracy really represent the will of the people? And does it enable us to determine our future? It is said that democracy originated from the ancient Greeks in Athens, who combined two words together, demos, people, and kratos, rule, to bring forth a form of governance by which the citizens were able to participate in the creation of the laws by which they were governed. Yet not all citizens were able to participate, as women, children, and slaves were excluded from their democratic process. In contrast, Australia has a form of governance that is based on the Constitution, whereby the citizens elect representatives to make their decisions and laws on their behalf. Australia founded its Constitution on the Magna Carta that was created in England in 1215 to give rights and liberties to the people over that of King John, who was abusing his position of power in ways such as excessive taxation. Although democracy in Australia has evolved in some regards, as it now acknowledges the rights of women and Indigenous cultures as being able to vote, it has not given us the right to participate in the political process other than to elect representatives to make our decisions without any need for our consent or our consultation. Even our referendums that enable us the opportunity to voice our opinions on proposed legislations can only be introduced by members of Parliament, once again excluding us from the democratic process. It's as if the constant petitions, the protests and the rallies serve as mere entertainment to those in power, as they realise that we have no rights under the Constitution. So, does democracy really represent the will of the people? And does it enable us to determine our future? Or does it simply empower a select group of individuals to be able to dictate and determine the laws by which we will be governed? It's as if the evolution of democracy in Australia has come to a standstill, whilst other nations throughout the world have acknowledged the rights of their citizens to scrutinise the activities of their politicians and to participate in the creation of their laws. Citizens-initiated referendums are a form of direct democracy that enable us to participate in the political process and establish our laws. There have been bills presented to the Australian Parliament to introduce citizens-initiated referendums into the Constitution, but have been declined due to lack of political commitment, no agreement on their form, and failure to gain popular support. But how can you gain popular support if there is a lack of political commitment, and it fails to serve the interests of those that regulate the media. It's as if there are those in Parliament that are more than interested in establishing their political career, rather than establishing a foundation for a true democratic process. It's as if for one reason or another, the evolution of democracy in Australia has not quite evolved out of the Dark Ages, and in some regards has reverted back to its autocratic nature that inspired the desire to bring forth democracy in the first place. Have the issues that have been accumulating over the past years impacted on our lives to the point that we no longer wish to stand outside the gates of democracy, waving our hands in the air, whilst we watch those that we've entrusted with our future turn their backs on their responsibility? Are the promises that they make appear to resemble the pre-packaged items from the local supermarket, with their glossy campaigns that they are all natural and full of goodness, yet are hidden with artificial flavours and preservatives that are detrimental to our health and our well-being? Is it clear that there are those in Parliament that are more than interested in selling out our future and have no fear in doing so, as their self-regulated political constructs provide them immunity from being responsible for their actions in any way? Although there are those in Parliament with their good intentions to represent the people, is it not time that we are given the opportunity to represent ourselves? For too long, we've been denied our right to participate in the creation of the laws by which we are governed. For too long, we've received the backlash from the decisions made by those that have asked us to trust them. It is now time that they trust us and treat us with the respect that we rightfully deserve. As are we not worthy as any other to be able to determine our future? And in determining our future, should we not acknowledge that we have a moral obligation to ensure that our laws are built on a solid foundation, a foundation that preserves and protects our social liberties and environment, and ensures that the essence of truth, honour and integrity will always prevail in the constructs of the laws that govern our existence? It is now time that we define the true essence of democracy by combining the best aspects from the past with the present, so we may reflect well into the future. It is now time that we focus on our right to vote for policies that are transparent in nature and true to their word, rather than voting for those that can be bought and sold, like the commodities on the stock market that they represent. Our future will be written with every decision we make. So let's embrace our right to participate in the creation of the laws that govern our existence, as it is our right to be heard, so we can have faith and trust in a democratic process that secures the foundation of our future and the future of all that is to come, so we can determine the world in which we live.